Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 independent comics, creator and writer of a new superhero comic coming out soon. This video is about DC Comics owner Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav's saying, "Make sure we get paid." This is coming from The Hollywood Reporter. It just came out. We will get into the article. Before we do, be sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. All right, David Zaslav's Hollywood doctrine is, quote, "Make sure we get paid." He's there to make money. He's not there to make friends. The Warner Brothers Discovery chief wants to be the anti-Netflix, all in on theatrical, a fan of linear TV, which includes cable channels. Happy to sell content to other players and focused on the bottom line. So how is he the anti-Netflix in that way? He's not going to be focused on only selling things through streaming. He's not going to be focused on not releasing theatrical films. You will see films go on to HBO Max and their platforms, but you will not see a lot of big films going directly onto HBO Max immediately after release. We just covered that yesterday. It looks like there's not going to be a 45-day waiting period. It can be dependent on how well the film is already doing. And if it's doing well in theatrical, they are not going to just throw it onto their streaming service. In addition, he's a fan of their cable channels. The cable channels make a ton of money for them still. Not just in the US, and not just in the UK, and not just in Canada. They're in multiple countries throughout the world, especially with all their Discovery properties, and all of the Time Warner channels that they're acquiring are also going to be distributed in a lot of those places too. So he's going to take what they have and be focused on what? The bottom line, making money, which is great news for those of us that really want to see, classic characters be treated at least on brand. We're not expecting miracles, but we want Batman to look like Batman. We want Superman to look like Superman. We want characters and properties. They control a lot more than just the DC heroes, of course. They control, they control Harry Potter. They control Looney Tunes, all sorts of things that have value only because it's what you expect to see when you go and you want to enjoy the content. In 2015, David Zaslav compared the industry-wide rush to scripted TV to a kid's soccer game. All players are clumped around the ball while the rest of the field is wide open. It's quite crowded, he said. It's pretty expensive and it's looking more and more like the movie business. Then the Discovery CEO said, explaining why his executive team wouldn't join the, quote, peak TV fray. Peak TV meaning everybody focused on doing the same thing in TV. Everybody was spending a ton of money on TV at the time. But the reason he was saying that too was he was leveraging his advantage. His advantage at the time was what? Discovery's channels. Discovery is all, Discovery Plus has a lot of non-scripted content, a lot of non-fiction content, and a lot of stuff that does very, very well in multiple places in the world. They do translated content, and they'll have nature shows and even their shows that are like reality shows. They can do those in different languages. They can do local versions of those. And this isn't just theoretical. They've been doing that for years. So that is what they're used to doing and what they're used to leveraging what they already have. But Zaslav, now that they have control of Warner Brothers media, they're going to use that as if that was a major advantage, and naturally that's what they're doing. Fast forward to 2022, and Zaslav, as CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, is running a scripted powerhouse and betting on movies as a key content engine. But he, along with CFO Gunnar, and that's Chief Financial Officer, Gunnar Wiedenfels, still vows to zag where the industry zigs. "We have no intention of being beholden to anyone in any particular or to any specific business model," Zaslav said during an August 4th earnings call. "Simply put, we are open for business, and that's to mean he will do what he thinks makes sense to make money and protect the brand so they can make money now as well as in the future." As Zaslav detailed, that plan includes setting a measured goal for streaming subscribers, returning to an emphasis on theatrical releases, and even declaring an openness to licensing content to third parties. Not really heard of at the other places. You don't really hear about Netflix Disney licensing their content for other platforms. He'll do it. He'll do it for money. This strategy positions streaming as just one of the many segments of a multifaceted media firm, in contrast to Netflix's all-in model, while feeding into the company's plan to find $3 billion in cost savings. And as I've said previously, if you think, oh, he's just talking numbers, he's going to find those $3 billion in cost savings, and they may wind up being $5 billion in cost savings by the time he's done. Guaranteed. The reality is, this is what Warner needs to do given its financial condition, says analyst Rich Greenfeld, who runs Lightshed Partners. What Warner does in the future if they cannot delever, time will tell. What is he talking about with that? He's talking about them potentially selling the company, which we'll do another video on actually soon because I've got an interesting article on that to leverage. As it stands, Warner Brothers Discovery has been a merged company for only about 4 months. In its first report as a combined entity, the conglomerate reported second quarter revenue of $9.8 billion. Sounds like a lot, but a loss of $3.4 billion, alongside $53 billion in gross debt. In contrast, Netflix's gross debt at the end of its second quarter was $14.3 billion, though it did not have debt related to a merger alongside revenue of $7.97 billion. It's a lot of revenue for Netflix, and much less debt over at Netflix. Working within that financial position, Zaslav and team are reversing the strategy of his predecessor, former Warner Media CEO Jason Kilar. Also a brilliant guy, but not good for Warner Media, to be honest, who doubled down on streaming by releasing the studio's entire 2021 film slate at HBO Max, which I thought was a gangster move at the time, at the same time as the theatrical releases amid the COVID pandemic. Using Batgirl as the latest example, Zaslav said his team had analyzed the results of this streaming-first experiment, but had not been able to find a business case and financial rationale for the strategy. Now, Zaslav has the advantage of having been able to look back at the results and see, oh, did we gain subs? Did it make financial sense? Did we have as much people going and seeing the theatrical when they could just stay at home and watch it? You know, particularly a movie like the most recent Wonder Woman movie, which was not good. I'm sorry. Tell me if you think in the comments below if it was good. But that said, you know, if people are saying it's not a good movie, well, why would you not just watch it at home? Also, keeping in mind that when these cable companies launch these streaming services, a lot of with these media companies, a lot of cable companies are giving away subscriptions for free. They have promotional things going on. So if you can get it even for free at home through the streaming service, through some sort of a promotion, why the heck would you go and go see a theatrical unless you really were excited to see the movie? Quote, we have a different view on the wisdom of releasing direct-to-streaming films, and we have taken some aggressive steps to course-correct the previous strategies, Zaslav said. We will fully embrace theatrical as we believe it creates interest and demand. As films move from theatrical to streaming and elsewhere, their overall value is elevated, he touted, mentioning such recent examples as Elvis and the Batman. So if it's released not just to one place, but if it's released on a major platform, on theatrical, if they spend $100, $200 million promoting a movie, and it's a top quality movie, then by the time it gets to streaming, people are still excited to see it again on streaming. That's why people like with Joker, for example, go and see it multiple times theatrically. And then what does that do when it gets to HBO Max? It only can support it on HBO Max and supports the HBO Max platform because HBO Max will have these hits, these theatrical cultural hits. And they become theatrical cultural hits through a lot of paid promotion and through a lot of success in that major market platform. Other cuts have followed similar cost-cutting measures, including the axing of animated feature Scoob! Holiday Haunt, one we're all sad about, the shelving of Wonder Twins, another one we're beside ourselves over, another DC film would develop, and scrapping the J.J. Abrams big-budget streaming series Demande, which sounds like it would have been interesting. I don't know. I don't know what Demande was. The theatrical first model marks a return to Hollywood's traditional approach of optimizing content distribution and maximizing revenue via various platforms, while also serving as counter-program to any sector giants that have been putting all their eggs in the streaming basket. Under Zaslav's plan, Warner Bros. Discovery will create a subscription streaming platform combining HBO Max and Discovery Plus content set to launch in summer 2023 with plans to launch a free ad-supported service later on. So the free service will be ad-supported, which means for them, they'll sell, whatever, tons and tons and tons and tons of ads, and they'll have subscribers all over the world consuming their content. And that does look like the future of this, where you've got a free subscription service, advertising supported, incredibly well-targeted ads, and you've got a paid premium version where you can cut out the ads and you don't have to see any of that. Very interesting. And there's a lot of different ways they can do ads now. The technology is like crazy. They're really coming up with creative ways of doing stuff. And keep in mind, he already does stuff like this through Discovery Plus in multiple countries. They already have a great team of people that know what they're doing. On this platform, the company will continue to spend on programming, but at a more measured rate, which means less money, more money for Zaz and his buddies, less money for spend, and at a more measured rate than competitors. Zaslav is highlighting HBO Max and touting the upcoming launch of Game of Thrones prequel House of the Dragon, which, I don't know how good that's going to be, as a centerpiece of the platform, while also maintaining important brands on the Discovery Plus channel, including a new cooking game show from Guy Fieri. They're really, really innovative with their shows and how they generate money from them. For example, you'll learn this from previous interviews with Zaslav. I'll put a link to those in the description so you have an advantage of checking those out too. But with cooking shows, they'll do like live streamed Martha Stewart cooking shows where she's going to live stream her cooking, and then you can also follow along and cook while she's cooking. And they also tell you prior to the live streaming event what ingredients she's going to use and what appliances and things you need to be able to cook for that event. And, of course, Zaslav has revenue sharing agreements with Amazon and some of the vendors that provide ingredients and provide appliances for things for upcoming shows. So they make additional revenue on top of that. Very slick with money. This Zaslav guy is slick with money. No question about it. Warner Bros. Discovery has outlined a less lofty streaming subscriber growth target of 130 million by 2025 for its planned platform containing HBO Max and Discovery Plus than, for example, Disney, which is projected 230 million to 260 million Disney subs by 2024. Quote, "We're not in the business of trying to pick up every sub. We want to make sure we get paid." That's where it comes from. Make sure we get paid. So because the stock market is no longer focusing on, how many millions of subs do you have? Do you have more subs? What's your sub growth? It's all about the dollars with the Zaslav crew. And that's very healthy for anybody who cares about any of the content they're producing. It's going to be focused on money-making content, not subs, not SJW material, not how woke are you. It's going to be, are we making money or are we not? That's it. While this may comfort investors, it comforts me, who have been wary of subscriber slowdowns amid high content spending on other platforms, Greenfeld views it as a company scaling back their ambitions, making a near-term win for Netflix and others who can afford to continue to invest. They're spending billions on top of billions at Warner Bros. Discovery on content. It's not that they're not investing. There's no investment if your investment ruins the brand, like what they did with Batgirl. Is that an investment? That was a bad investment. That was a bad investment. So should they make more movies like that, that they can't really release or that don't support the brand, but maybe make some people feel good about inclusion? I mean, that's not going to make money down the line. And as you've seen, Netflix is canceling a bunch of series and laying off a bunch of people. They're not going to be as woke as they were over at Netflix. They're going to still be plenty woke. And keep in mind, with Netflix, it's a clean slate. They don't really have brands that they inherited that we've known in the culture for decades. the way Warner Media has. So Netflix has no issue with, well, is this going to ruin the Stranger Things brand? Like, well, whatever. It's a good show. I like it. You watch it for a few years. That's it. It ain't Batman. It ain't Wonder Woman. It ain't Batgirl. It's not like the Marvel brands that have been around forever. The Warner Brothers Discovery team is also not... Tell me what you think of that, by the way, in the comments below. The difference between Netflix's brands and Warner Media's Marvel's brands. Like, does the legacy make a big difference about them being able to go woke or not be woke? The Warner Brothers Discovery team is also not precious about the content it produces. As Zaslav declared that the company will happily sell it to the highest bidder, unlike rivals that have increasingly kept their content for themselves and their streaming services. Quote, what's critical to us, we are going to keep that exclusively. So DC Core branded things, Harry Potter, big franchises. But the content that could be non-exclusive and have no impact on us in terms of the core of what they're known for and the core of their brand. They're not going to give The Sopranos to someone else. If they're going to do New Sopranos, it's going to happen on HBO Max. However, there's a lot of non-exclusive content they can license out. And they want to monetize that and drive economic value. And so, too, like Discovery makes some of their nature shows. I mean, I always think Discovery is basically nature shows. They have ID, the ID channel, the investigation channel, and other content that they produce. They will sell that around because while it's great for them to be the destination for that stuff, they don't need to have it exclusively. You want to do a show on penguins or sharks or something like that in Australia and, whatever, it's on your platform and our platform. It's not going to hurt Discovery. It's just going to be extra cash money, and they will take that extra cash money. But don't think you're going to get non-exclusive rights to a new Batman movie if you're out in Australia. It's not happening. Which makes so much freaking sense, doesn't it? Tell me what you think. All in all, this approach to streaming is a pragmatic approach in every way imaginable, Mooney's analyst Neil Bagley says, adding that Zaslav is still protecting the company's biggest brands while also using them to help fund the new offerings. They need that cash flow to fund the transition of the distribution of their content to various platforms. And with Warner Brothers Discovery's financial position, which includes a reliance on its legacy TV business, this is a reference to the cable channels, which are declining. They do decline over the years. A more cautious push into streaming is necessary. MoffettNathanson, analyst, it's a company, Robert Fishman argued in a report, mentioning the company's lowered 2023 earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization guidance of $12 billion plus, down from $14 billion previously. He said that this highlights Warner Bros. Discovery's deep dependence on profits from linear cable networks that are under increasing pressure in a declining pay TV ecosystem. All of this doubles down on Zaslav's cash flow first, gotta love it, strategy, a profit metric showing the ability to fund operations without external financing. Just a quick summary of what the heck this guy is talking about real quick. Zaslav did announce in the most quarterly report that 2023 earnings look like they're going to take down $2 billion less than expected. They had bad projections, he claims, from Warner Media when they took over Warner Media. And as a result, it's $2 billion less cash basically in the door to pay bills, to pay interest, to invest in new development, overhead, things like that. This is separate from the $3 billion a year he said he was going to save, or $3 billion over 2 years, whatever it was, in cut overhead expenses. So what this analyst is saying is this looks really, really sensible. I mean, they're completely leveraging their position in the smartest possible way. Obviously, like, Zaslav is smart. He's got a great executive team, and he's got John Malone in his ear, his mentor, legendary investor, creator of Charter Cable, is giving him advice and working up strategic numbers-based plans. This is not like go woke, go broke guy. This is not Disney over here. They are serious about making money and protecting their brands. If they don't protect their brands, they will not make money. If they don't make money, they have a very serious problem with that debt, which is not that they can't pay it right now, but that they won't be able to refinance it when they need to, and they will need to. You have rolling debt in a company, especially this much debt. It could be a big problem. They're already almost at what they call junk status. We'll do another video about that. Back to the article. The question is, will it work? It may be too soon to tell, Bagley says. However, the conglomerate has an experienced management team, as I said, and assets in place that should help the team create another competitive top-tier streaming platform despite any financial headwinds, the analyst notes. For now, Doug Kurtz argued that the strategy should endear the company to those who are spooked by recent streaming subscriber growth challenges for Netflix and others. Quote, the fact that Warner Brothers Discovery Management is so clearly laser focused on managing the business for free cash flow generation over the long term will only make the shares more attractive to value-oriented investors. Kurtz wrote in an August 5 report, particularly compared to other media names that still seem somewhat unsure whether top-line growth or bottom-line performance is the more important metric, meaning to say top-line growth, meaning more and more revenue, more and more subscribers versus profits. Did we make money? Did we not make money? Obviously, they're really focused over there at Zaslav's operation that they get cash in the door, not just how many subscribers do they have. And how brilliant, I mean, in the comments below, to already set expectations like, hey, don't think that we're going to get as many subscribers as Netflix. We're not. That's not our focus. We're going to make money. That's what we're going to do over here. We're going to make money. And as he said, we're going to protect our brands. And additionally, as he said, make sure we get paid. He wants to get paid for whatever it is they're doing, whatever it is they're making. They're not going to make stuff that doesn't make sense. Tell me what you think about his attitude in the comments below. Is that a winning strategy for Warner Media? Is that a winning strategy for DC Comics? And actually for the culture and for the culture war we all find ourselves based in, where at least make it based on merit. Make things that people want. Love to know what you think. Put it in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I do appreciate it. I will see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.